Hello everybody, this is Johnny S with another 6 vlog. Today we're going to discuss about DIY. DIY means do it yourself, as many people know. Warm it up a little bit. So DIY means do it yourself, and that includes whatever you can do on your bike yourself. We're not going to talk only about service, but whatever, you know, you can actually do on your bike. I will suggest a couple of things that I've done and give some ideas, you know, some things that you know, you can give some love to your bike, let's say. And you know, this is not necessary to do. I mean, you know, the simple way is to take the bike to your mechanic and be done with it. And if you have a good bike mechanic, he will take care of most of these things. So luckily for me, I have found an excellent bike mechanic, and he, like, I take it to him for a checkup, for example, and he will say, you know, I also noticed that you know, there's a lot of I noticed that you had a lot of gunk on your chain from all the greasing and stuff. So, you know, I took the gears apart, I kind of cleaned it, I took the plastic and everything, and I did this to you. He doesn't, you know, sometimes he charges a little bit extra, sometimes he's not, but I mean, he looks at the bike overall, you know. I mean, it's not there just to do the simple service, do like 10 steps, 10 checks, that's it, be done, go with it. He, you know, he takes care of the bike as if it was his own, you know what I mean? So if you have a mechanic as such, then you you literally do not need to worry about anything, because you can just let the whole process to him and he will take care of it, you know what I mean? I think it's been raining here. Yeah, I think it's been raining. I can feel the tires a little bit sleepy. Give me 1 second to go through the tolls and we'll continue. Okay, so I think it has been raining here. The road is a little bit wet. Faster. It's better here. So the road seems to be a lot more dry here. We can go a little bit faster. I'm sure we're going to find it's a lot windy today. I'm sure we're gonna find more traffic down the road, so we can take it a little bit faster, let's say here, and then later we'll slow down, most probably. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, I see traffic a little bit more heavy now, so imagine there's no traffic and the whole ride is just me going fast, not talking at all. Yeah, I mean, that can be an R6 vlog. Like I said, for the R6 vlogs, you don't have to have a topic at hand. You know, you're discussing conditions, you're trying to get some footage of the bike. And in the process of doing so, you can discuss some things. I love it. My little kid, every time he sees me in the bike, he goes to me, Dad, let me clean your bike. And he puts his fingers all over the mirror. And he always does on the left mirror. The right mirror is clean. Anyway, it's hilarious. I love him. Okay, now. So now we're back to our usual traffic. It's not as much as another day, so this is good. And that's another thing that I said, you know, last time I was talking about vlogs. You don't have to have like 100 different topics and discuss about this, discuss about that. You can have a topic at mind. I mean, we're almost done half the trip now, and we have not talked about what I wanted to talk about, which is DIY. Which is no problem, you know what I mean? Point of the R6 vlog is also part of just that, vlogging your ride. Make sure you have good audio, make sure that the audience can hear the bike, the exhaust, have an angle that shows you know, the speedometer and everything. Some guys would like to enjoy the ride. You know what I mean? Other people would like to listen to the topic. So, like I said, it's nothing, you know, specific. Usually when I listen to R6 vlogs, I do it as if it was a podcast. So usually I alt tab to another page, another screen on my computer, and I've got the vlog playing in the background, as if it was a podcast, you know. DIY, like I said before, you can do things to your bike yourself. If you're getting older, you've got kids, family, and everything, and you don't have the time or as much time, then it's no problem. It doesn't mean that because you're not actively participating on the maintenance of your bike that you're going to you're not loving your bike, or you're not enjoying your bike, or you're not respecting your bike. And if you want to, you can always find a little bit of time, let's say, to do from little things to big things. So little things will be something like just clean your bike, you know what I mean? And bigger things are going to be more maintenance things and everything. Another thing to mention is that if you're going to do maintenance things on yourself on the bike, you're not going to count them towards the book of your bike. You know what I mean? So when I do things on the bike, usually there are small maintenance. I don't write it down. That's something to consider, because reselling the bike, somebody might see that there's a gap, and they will say, what happened here? How come there was no services? But you can tell them that I did them myself. Anyway, it is something to keep in mind. When you take it to the mechanic, the mechanic stamps it. There's an actual tax number of his company. He signs it. It's different. You know what I mean? He has his personal information, and he's taking ownership of what he did to your bike. So, and obviously they are the expert as well. That's another thing to mention. Do not presume that you are an expert because you've read 1-2 guides. You know what I mean? That's why I'm saying it depends on the maintenance. If it's something more, specific, then you will be better off leaving it to the professional. If it's something simple like an oil change, yeah, you can do it. So there was a point in my life where I had more time, and that's not to say that if you're married with kids, you cannot do it. Obviously you can do it. You can find the time. You can always find the time for your bike, obviously, but it's a little bit more of a challenge. Let's say you have to do a little bit of a time management in order for you to do it properly. But yeah, even for 1 hour, 2 hours, something, you can dedicate a specific amount of time, and you can perform some maintenance operations on your bike. It's no problem. And usually, like I said, these operations are, more simple operations. You're not going to sorry, you're not going to perform a huge engine maintenance on your bike and everything, but a lot of traffic here. Yeah, so it's good that we went a little bit faster, because we know we're gonna go a little bit slower here. why it's so hectic, but anyway. The hilarious thing is that sometimes you have cars which they see this traffic and they try to go faster, meaning they change lanes, they swap, they swerve, they do this, they do that. Yes, you might be able to go a little bit faster, but in overall you're not going to you know, you're not going to go nowhere. I'm sorry to say it like that. All lanes are busy. If there's an accident, there's a lot of traffic at front of whatever the cause is, and you see that, you know, there's in general traffic. And by changing lanes left and right, you're not going to achieve, you know, nothing. You might save a few car lengths, but overall we're all going at the same pace on average. So again, that's the things about DIY, self-maintenance, they call it. And as I said, at some point in my life, because I was more free, I had more free time in my hands, I did used to take a long time with my bike. To give an idea of what something like that might look like, the first thing that I did, which is not hard, I mean anybody can do it. The first thing that I did is I downloaded the service manual of my bike. First of all, I got an electronic copy of the user manual. I printed that out. Then I got a service manual. The service manual is a little bit more difficult to acquire. You might need to search for it here and there. You know, they're not plainly giving it out because, you know, it's supposed to be the manual for the mechanics that they can go back to. So you know, every mechanic has their own you know, specialization. Some guys are Yamaha mechanics, some guys are Kawasaki. That does not mean they cannot do services on other type of bikes, but they might not know the specific, the clear ranges, the torque ranges and everything, so they might refer to the service manual, and it is provided to them. Therefore, it is not, you know, sold, let's say, publicly. Therefore, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to find it, but you can find it. If you search the internet, you know, you can find anything. So the first step that I would recommend for anybody that wants to get into the service manual, I downloaded the service manual, I printed the service manual. It was around 400 pages, so expect to have a lot of paper. I made a nice folder and I called it My R6 by Johnny S. And I had put at the beginning the user manual, and then there was a separation slide, and I had the service manual. So that's how I did it, you know, on my thing. I actually went through and read quickly, not, you know, everything, the service manual, just to get an idea of what my bike is, what's recommended, when to do the checks, how to do the checks. The service manual is going to tell you everything. It's going to tell you what tools you need for the job. It's going to give you the torque ranges. It's going to give you everything. You know what I mean? Obviously, I did not buy everything that the manual is suggesting. The only things that I bought was a multimeter. So it's like a voltage meter slash amp meter. You know, so I could measure different, let's say, the electronic things, and see if there's a resistance burned out, or see if there's, you know, be able to check cables, connections, and ensure that electronically they're sound. Because I've studied electronic engineering, I'm good at that, so I felt more comfortable. Therefore, it's the first tool that I got. After that, I got a torque wrench. So that cost, the multimeter to mention, cost me around 80 euro. So if you want to get a good one, you are going to will need to give some money. And similarly for the torque wrench, it was a little bit more expensive, close to $100. The torque wrenches are really, you know, expensive as well. It was not an electronic one. It was, you know, one with the gauge that you twist at the bottom. And the reason why you will need a torque wrench is because if you're going to be, you know, tightening things to specific specifications, You might need to know exactly the torque ranges. So in order for you to do that, you will need a torque wrench. It's as simple as that. Sorry that I'm breaking my speakage, but there's a lot of traffic behind me, and I'm trying to let them go. Usually in traffic I do not risk it a lot, whereas other people take it more. You know, I go with the speed of the car. So here, for example, cars are stopped. No, they're not stopped. So so I'm going fast. Here, I will press the brake a bit, because in order for me to have enough time to respond. Now they're rolling. So whenever they're rolling, you will hear me go whoop, whoop. That's the reason why I'm doing it. Here we're rolling. I've got enough time to respond. You know what I mean? And I always go based on that. I don't care who's behind me, who's in front of me. If you want to pass me, pass me. Here, for example, they started going slow, so yeah, here, for example, I don't have any visibility. Anyway, just giving you some hints also when I'm driving. I also suggest for people to drive more defensively. I understand that you might want to go to the job quicker and everything, but you know, make sure you're safe first of all, and then you get where you need to be. Yeah, for example, here you can open it up. And slow back down again. What's that? Something died. Okay. So that's as far as, you know, DIY. Do it yourself. So that's about it. I mean, as long as you get those things, you're able to do, you know, whatever you want, and you don't have to get these things. You know what I mean? You can start. You know, like the first thing that you will probably need to get is a cleaning rag to be able to self-clean your bike. You know what I mean? Get a silicone spray for the greases. Get a good cleaning thing, and just take time with your bike. You know what I mean? Take time with your bike, be with your bike, give love to your bike, take care of your bike. It's a good process. You know what I mean? And it's not the same as if you go to the bike mechanic. So what I mean by that is, it's not the same if you go to the car mechanic, because even looking at your bike without the fairings, between on the garage of the car mechanic and in your garage, it's not the same. You know what I mean? Just looking at it in your garage without the fairings is quite different. So, you know, if you're asking what do I need, that's all you need. That's all you need. You don't need anything else. And from then on, whatever more you can get and you can do, the better it is for you. And the more, you know, as far as saving money, I will not suggest. You're not really going to save a lot of money. You know, if you have, like I said previously, a good mechanic who's not going to thieve you, then you know, you don't need to be worried about that. You're not going to you know, waste a lot of money, and you know, it will be pretty much an additional 20 euro, let's say, based on the work that he's going to do, which is understandable, and not only understandable but deservable. So, you know, don't think of it like, I'm going to do my own service, I'm going to save money. No, you're going to do your own service because you would like to see your bike, you would like to take care of your bike, see what it's like, and familiarize, familiarize your bike. The fact that you download the service manual, the fact that you read about some of the things that your bike has, the fact that you get into the whole process, that allows you to better understand and learn your bike. You know what I mean? The technology behind your bike, what's available to it, all these things play a role. So, yeah. And from then on, if you're wondering about what I used to do on my bike, I used to change the oils. That's another thing. Sometimes, in order for you to change the oil and remove the oil filter, it does take a little bit of, a little bit of effort. So that's maybe another one of the tools that you might want to get. An oil torque, an oil wrench. So, I didn't have a lot of these things previously, so I didn't have to buy a lot of these things. But another thing that you might want to get is an oil container to put the oil in. And that's one of the most basic changes that you could do to your bike. Change the oils a little bit more frequently. Not to write them on the manual, but let's say the mechanic was going to change the oil every 6,000 miles. You might want to change them on the 3,000 by yourself, just to give it a little bit extra care and love to your bike. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point. Today we're going to a customer. That's why you listen to me talk as such. And yeah, I don't think there's much more to mention. This is what I used to do. I had many issues in my bike as well, so one of the things that I did, was perform a few inspections on the bike, in the sense of trying to, what the fuck are they doing here? Yeah, one of the things that I had done on the bike was try to do a couple of inspections myself, because there were some issues that I was facing a long time ago. But I'm not going to get into a lot of detail for that. So anyway, I think this is enough. Unfortunately, we ran a little bit out of time. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and I wish you have an awesome day. Bye bye.